All right. Hi, Dina. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, it's a pleasure.
Okay, so for this episode, we are going to speak in English und auch Deutsch, weil Dina ist Deutsch. So, für die deutsche Leute, das wir noch hören, das Episode, wir werden auch Deutsch sprechen. Also für mein Deutsch ist nicht die beste. Ich werde probiert. But then we will also speak in English because most people who listen speak English. So we will do both. But yeah, thank you so much. For those of you who listened to episode 18, I read off some answers from Dina from questions that I sent her, asking about her winter break, her goals, and things she wishes that were different for women's football in the world and in Germany. So today we are going to follow up and ask more questions and get a little deeper into Dina's thoughts about women's football. Ja, especially here in Germany, weil wir beide hier zu spielen Fußball in Deutschland und Dina ist jetzt spielen mit Union Berlin in Regionalliga, aber das Mannschaft ist so stark jetzt in die erste Platz. Ich glaube, wenn alles geht gut, dann du wirst hochgehen zu die zweite Bundesliga. Und ja, so das freut mich zu haben du bei mir hier heute. Ja, lass uns anfangen mit die Fragen. So, Dina, first question. Why do women
Yes.
football players often have lower self-esteem and confidence? You brought this up in your responses last time, and ja, ich finde das eine sehr gute Frage. Es ist ein bisschen komisch mit Sport für die Damen zu not have a lot of confidence, especially professional athletes. Usually we are a bit confident, arrogant und Ego haben, aber mit die Damen, it's really normal for us to have no confidence. So why do you think that is?
Yeah. I don't know why this topic came up in winter break because we were pretty confident in our first games, test games, and also in the first half of our season. We are first place, like you said, and there's no reason why we should doubt ourselves or have any low esteem at all. But I feel like, or we had the discussion that it's of course a little biology wise that women tend to have more doubts and more fears and are not willing to take as many risks as men do. But especially like you said in sports, it shouldn't make any sense, or like it shouldn't be a topic or a reason why you shouldn't take any risk at the field. So since we are in a safe space most of the time, we try to create a safe space in our team. We we shouldn't have a reason to be or have like a low esteem. So that is just a topic who came up or actually comes up every time when we have like highlight games or even like low games where we play against the last team, for example, in our league, since we always want to make sure that we keep the same level of confidence in our team. And I don't know why this, I just can explain it biologically that women tend to have like lower esteem, but the question should be why we lose sometimes this feeling, especially here in Germany. We train from a young age with boys and they're so confident all the time. Like they cheer each other up and like they're too confident sometimes.
Yeah.
And I used to be very confident too when I play with boys. So even I can watch myself, like with boys, I was always confident and I had to be able to continue playing with them. So I needed that confidence that I'm at least the same level as they are. And even with my twin sister, we always try to beat each other and keep the high standards up. And then when we went to a woman team, it went like a little. There was a little more jealousy, a little more doubts about each other, and it's just an observation I did, and I don't know why it is that way. I also feel like we could cheer much more in our locker rooms to just strengthen each other, because I don't know, like the boys celebrate their goals like they they hit it by themselves. Like it's crazy how they cheer each other up and lift each other up, and I think the confidence comes also from that. So I feel like as women we can also get a little bit more from that, but I don't know, we didn't figure out how we get more confidence from that area. So it's just like an open topic, and I feel like we need to pep talk maybe sometimes more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I don't know. I think a lot of it is probably also because we are told all the time we have to be almost perfect to get
yeah,
half of what the men get. And so the men can be
yeah,
cocky because they know they can be just average, right? We know a lot of
yeah,
average male players who make a lot of
yeah.
money, play on great teams, they don't have to work, football is their life, and
True.
they're good players, but they're not the best. But for women, if we're
Yes.
not the best, we can't get anything. So I think
Yeah.
also we have this jealousy and competition because we are told if you are not the best, you won't play in top league, you won't get
True.
paid, you're never going to make it. So ja, vielleicht das ist auch warum. Also mit die Damen ist es mehr so competition. It's always, but not competition, my team versus your team. It's even with our own team,
Yeah. One player against
obviously.
each other. Yeah.
And I mean, it's normal to have competition in training because you want to make the Erste Elf and Spiel auf der Wochenende. That's normal.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be so normal to like not want your teammate to do good because it means that
Yes.
you won't get good as well. That's I think in the women
True.
that's where it's different. So I think
Yeah.
maybe if they start supporting women, then we don't have to be so against each other. Maybe that's a good step.
True. Yeah. But your point is really good. Like, of course, we have the risk is real. Like, if we don't perform at our best level, we have nothing. Like, we don't get paid as much. And so it makes sense that men, or especially boys, can take the risk even higher or much more likely, or without paying attention to it. And also, I feel like women see a bigger picture more often. Like boys just play football and like say, it's my dream, I will try that. And if it doesn't work out, I will figure out something else, or like I will do something with football coach, or I don't know. That's always the answer I get when I ask young players. And women are always like, yeah, I have to make sure I finish my A level, and then I have to study something, and football is just a side job. And if we look at that way all the time, we can't also increase the change we see right now, since we don't see it as a job we can mainly do on 100%. So I feel like with that, of course, we need that doubt, or that a little bit of security. Like, is it worth it? Can I go this path, or do I have to save myself some energy or some education somewhere else to be safe if something doesn't work out? So yeah.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly, to be safe. And I think that's a big problem with women. We never feel safe in our career because,
Yeah.
we make a mistake or we make a coach mad or whatever. And then we are terrified that we won't get the offer that we want or we won't be
Yes.
taken care of. So, yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think if we can work on these little things that really don't take a lot. It's more effort and believing in women and believing that we are just as important and we're good enough to get the same treatment, then I think it will
Mm.
fix itself. But as we both know, that takes time.
We
So
will see.
we will see.
Yes.
All right. So,
True.
question 2. Why does it seem like women football players have to choose between quality or level of play versus having a safe space? So why can't we have both? And to make this more clear, it feels like when women move up in levels, so like for me, I'm now in Bundesliga 2, and obviously the competition is, you're trying to move up to Bundesliga. It's top level in Germany. Obviously, it's, everything is about winning. when you go down lower, I mean, when you're a kid, you're playing for fun. It's not about getting paid. You're playing
Yes.
football because we love football. So that's normal. You go higher up, it's more serious. That's not the problem. The problem is more when we get higher in the level, the money doesn't go up, the level of care does not go up, our facilities are not any better, the fields are not any better. So we are asked to play professional level with less
Yes.
care. So why do you think that women have to continue to choose between playing top level or having fun or being safe? Also für mich, das gibt's nicht. Und ich finde das ein bisschen krass, weil wir, wieso du hast gesagt, wir machen Arbeit und Spiel oder Schule und Spiel, weil wir können nicht nur Spiel. We can't just play because they don't pay us enough. But they want us to
Yeah.
play with the same level of professionalism as men
Yeah.
with no help. So why do you think
True.
women players seem to be in this position all the time?
I feel like we missed a point where women football became more attractive and more professional. I feel like it started around the European Championship, maybe a little bit early on. So let's say 5 years from today, it started to develop much more, much quicker than it used to. And I feel like especially the clubs missed the chance to grow with that. So the professionality and the ask and the qualities, the association or also the visitors from women football try to see now, like you should be like a professional, so play like it, recover like it, eat like it, everything will, you see it on social media, everybody sorry, I missed the word. Everybody is looking for that, or like, I really missed the one word I wanted to say. It's like expect from you.
Mm-hmm.
There's like such high expectations from me as a player to be that high level, but I feel like the clubs missed the opportunity and the timing of growing with payments, with facilities, with pitches. Like it's crazy. We played. I mean, we are third league right now, but even in the second league, I saw pitches. I thought that is also a reason why we have so many ACL injuries. Sorry, but that's such crazy. There's no standards, and I think we missed that we have standards. I mean, there are also girls in the first Liga who still earn not the minimum of German salaries, which normally you should try to get that. Like I think there was a study with 450 euros or something with some of the players. So it's still common, and it should be not that way. And first and second league should be, I don't know if that's the case, but for men football, they are not playing at the DFB association anymore. They have the DFL. So another,
Really?
yeah, they are
Okay.
not at DFB anymore. So it might be a change of that DFB has no regularies or standards set for first and second league. So the clubs are not in need to change anything or to give that salaries or the contracts to the players. And I feel like we're missing on responsibility. Who takes care of the players? Who is responsible for that change? And I feel like everybody wants it, but wanting it and showing it is there's a big difference, I feel like. And especially with my club, I can say you feel the change with small actions. And I see a lot of clubs, or I hear also from players who playing in clubs for the first league, and they tell a lot of things, but actually behind the curtains, there's not much change. So I feel like having that responsibility to either the association or the clubs, I feel like everybody can do their part, but there definitely are missing some standards we should get for the at least first and second league. Third league is something, I don't know. I mean, I play there I feel like also clubs are not willing to pay more and want to have that regulations, but I feel like first and second league should be should be a
Yeah,
standard and should be developing these standards.
yeah, I agree. I think for me, I mean, when you look at, so this is, okay, ein bisschen random. It's a little random,
Yeah,
aber ich hatte gehen für meine Visum, to the
yeah,
Ausländerbehörde to get my visa, and the lady said to me, "Oh, are you playing Bundesliga 1 or Bundesliga 2?" I said, "Oh, I'm
yeah.
playing Bundesliga 2." She said, "Oh, really? Did you know if you're playing Bundesliga 1, you don't need any level of German. You can just get a visa for as long as your football contract. So I don't need to
Oh,
learn any German if I'm playing Bundesliga 1. But I'm in
wow.
Bundesliga 2. So I need to have my B1. And then after having my B1 level, I can have a visa for as long as my contract. But I have to make my B1. And I said,
Wow.
I I don't understand. Ich verstehe das nicht, weil Bundesliga 1 and Bundesliga 2, beide sind professional. Like they're both
Mm.
professional levels. So why
Yeah,
is it different? Like they already look at them as not being professional together. And
yeah,
then with Regionalliga, for me, if I'm looking like an American, right, I would look at Regionalliga as semi-professional because it's
yeah,
directly below the professional level. It is right there when you win and you win relegation, you go up. Normal.
yes,
Aber es ist wie so, in Germany, they almost see it as the same level as like Landesliga or Kids League. Like it's like because
yeah,
it's not Bundesliga, they don't care.
yes,
It's not professional, so it doesn't matter. And I think that's so crazy because Regionalliga is it's not a bad level. A lot of
mm.
times, like last year, I played Regionalliga for Saarbrücken. Saarbrücken went down from second league to Regionalliga, I think, because after
Mm.
COVID, all the foreigners left. COVID was crazy and everything got crazy. And then after, it was hard for them to come back. So it's not that the club isn't good. I mean, last year we did really well. We were in second place, I think, by 1 point.
Mm.
It's a good team, it's a good club.
Yes,
They have the money, they have the support, but life happens, COVID happened, and they went down a league. It doesn't mean that they're crappy, but because they went down from Bundesliga 2 to Regionalliga, no one cared anymore. And I'm like,
mm.
this is crazy. You know how easy it would be for this women's team to move back up to second league if the club and the league cared about them, paid
Mm.
them the amount of money. Like there was, you said 450 for women in the first league. There are girls I know in Regionalliga that are not even getting enough money to pay for petrol in their
Yeah.
car to get to training. Like that is so crazy. And then they expect you to
Yes,
play top level to move up to second league. How can I play good enough to move up to second league if I can't even
yes,
pay for my car to get to practice?
yeah.
It's those things that don't make sense. And I think I'm learning as well. I heard a story. I'm not going to say what club it is because I need to be careful. But I heard
Mm.
a story about a club where the club, the Verein, had actually said to the girls, it is better for us if you go down to third league because it's
Yeah.
easier and it looks better for the men if the women are not above them. And
Wow.
ich dachte, warte, was meinst du, ist es besser für die Männer, wenn die Damen sind unten die Männer? Like, why does it matter? We are the same club. If the women are in first league and the men are in Landesliga, that is just how it is. Why are we upset that the women are doing better?
Yeah.
Support them. And that is when I realized the sexism is still so strong that a lot of the
It
time
is
they just don't want the women to be better than the men. And it has
for
nothing to
sure.
do with not having the money. It has nothing to do with not having time. It's literally they just don't want to admit that women
Mm.
are just as good as the men. And that is
Yeah.
just sad.
It just doesn't make sense at all. Especially like when you have so much examples. For example, VfL Wolfsburg, their women team is more successful than their men's, and it's changed. The whole club invested in the women, and they make so much money out from the women right now. even sometimes more than the men in normal league games, and nobody is registering. You know
Registering.
what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Registering, yeah,
Yeah.
that impact not only for the club but also for the whole society
Mm-hmm.
when the women get like invested and like get pushed and like why not, like even my club, there's nobody who's saying why women playing football, they all are lucky and like happy to have one more game to watch. So I don't know what's the point. And yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
stupid.
It's
But
stupid.
it's like it comes all back to that old mindset some people have, and unfortunately, these people with that mindset are sitting in positions with a lot of power,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to change that, or like show them so long that they can't watch any further, or like can't admit
Mm-hmm.
admit anymore that they're right. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Time changes slowly.
Time changes very slowly, but it's changing. We will make sure of
Yeah,
that. All right.
yeah, for sure.
Question 3. So you just mentioned it actually a bit earlier, but the big issue with women is injuries. And like you said, the
Yes.
pitches are terrible. And that's one of the things you brought up in our questions last time was the many ACL injuries and why there's no solution for women. And it seems like even they, I mean, obviously they clearly don't care enough to have a solution, but also
Yeah.
why, with all the technology and the data and science that we have, why do you think it is that it's still so much more for women than men?
Yeah. So I feel like also biologically we are tend to have more risk in tearing our ACLs just because
Okay.
our body is different. I think it's 3 to 5 times more risk to tear our ACL since we have these knock knees.
Oh,
So do you
okay.
say knock knees?
Yeah,
Yeah.
knock knees. Yeah.
Bigspeinstellung? Yeah. So we tend to go in that position, and especially with changing directions.
Hmm.
Um, Football is just like risky risk for ACL injuries. It's just like a fact. It's also a fact that we, with professionalism, our schedules changed, our loading of training and games has changed, our schedules, our kickoff times have changed from, especially when we have now Bundesliga from Friday to Monday even. Our weekly schedule and training sessions change all the time. Then we have our cycle, which is also such a big point in women hormone growth. And I mean, there are already studies who showed that it's not technically just the cycle who could increase or decrease the risk of injuries, but it's definitely one point in the whole equation. And I feel like there's no one, there will be not one study who says in the end, when you do this and this and this practice, you will be safe of ACL injury. I feel like that's a problem we have to deal and comes with playing football. But I
Hmm.
feel like the risk got so much higher with all these changes. And also, I just saw a video from Emma Hayes from Chelsea.
Hmm.
Uh, and they doing a lot of study and researching with their numbers and players as well. And she said most of their ACL injuries happened within 9 days of change from national team to Chelsea training. So every time they changed rhythm of training load and also climber, like when they went to Greece, for example, to play national team and then back to cold London. So there are
Yeah.
always these changes with training and games and rhythms. And of course, your body reacts to that, and especially with your cycle, there's so much things to think about. Of course, your body's break down at some point.
Yeah.
So I feel like just with um, pointing out these many factors, we need more studies and research about women football and ACL injuries. How can we prevent with strength training, with nutrition, with training intensity load? How can we try to build a rhythm for each player? And that's of course difficult in a team sport, but it's possible if you want to.
If you want to.
How can we? And if you have a plan, I mean, with research, there will be probably more and more clubs who invent such training plans. But for example, my club is asking about our period every morning, and our we have like a
Like an Abfrage.
file. Yeah,
Okay.
Belastungsumfrage it's called. So how
Okay.
we slept, how we feel, our body, our soreness, how many hours we slept, and what day of period we are. And if we are in a day of period where we feel really like that's such individual, like my period day 1 can be totally different than yours or someone else.
Exactly.
But if we feel like really not like training,
Like tired.
like
Oh my gosh.
tired, like exhausted, maybe sore, I don't know. We just give a feedback to our trainers, and they try to put us in a different load or a different training group, or even taking us out of the training. So I feel like with
Dina.
knowing, you have to know your body, of course.
Yes, yes.
That's a big, and you need a safe space, a club where you can tell about that.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be scary to tell, I have my period, I'm not training today.
You know.
That's a big issue I feel like we have to solve. But if we come to that point where we can talk about it, and like in the end you want to play on Sunday and want to be fit, and
Yep.
even if on Sunday you get your period, there will be days where you still have to play, of course, but you
Yeah.
can at least decrease the risk of injury, I feel like, with these lot of numbers. And of course also your feeling, how like feedback from your body, how do you feel and how's your loading and system works right now. Or, yeah, so I feel like,
Yeah.
sorry I talked a lot, but
No, no,
in
no.
the
All
end,
of that is
there,
important.
yeah, true. I mean, there are like so many different little Drehsteine, so little
Like details.
things you can, yeah, so many little details you can watch and like try to solve, or like just improve a little bit for yourself, and also get in touch with your coach, like whole coaching team, to work on it and just decrease the risk. Because I was really scared, like, to see how many girls are out of injury. And I mean, ACL is at least 6 months, maybe
Yeah.
in a good club, if it works well, 4 months these days, but you're out for a long time. And I got an ACL injury before COVID hit, actually. That was my
Whoa.
one injury, knock on wood,
Knock
never
on
happen again.
wood.
But yeah, I can tell from now on it was a rhythm change. I trained more, I changed club, and it was also going on so much stuff next to the pitch. Like I had to work in a restaurant, I told you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had so much stress, I had financial problems. So to me, there was no wonder why my body stopped and something broke down.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I feel like a lot of issues are also next to the pitch, of course, not just training loading, but also do you have time and the mind space to recover? Because you can't just work hard, work hard, work hard. You also need to be able to recover hard
Ja,
or good.
genau. Das ist wieso wir
So,
halt geredet mit die Panel in Berlin, mit die Denton Talks. Es ist so krass für die Damen. It's crazy for us as women that we have to work like full-time jobs, but playing top level. And then we're expected to perform perfectly. We have to get ourselves to trainings. We have to pay for everything for ourselves. You know, we don't have time. Like, I work a lot and I have to meal prep if I get lucky on a Monday, and then I have to hope that those meals last me through the whole week because I don't have time to cook dinner when I come home after practice because I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to work, but I'm home from practice at like 10 o'clock sometimes. And I just read a study, which is very interesting. So for women, you know, I don't know if it's the same in Germany, but in America, they did a study that the 6 to 8 hours of sleep that they say adults need to be healthy, was only based on men. Apparently, women
Yeah.
need 9 to 10 hours to properly produce hormones so that we can recover. 9 to 10 hours of sleep. So, I mean, in normal life, getting 10 hours of sleep is probably not realistic. But even getting 8, normally an 8 to 9 would be great. But I'm currently getting maybe like 5 or 6, and I'm playing second Bundesliga. So for me, I'm already like, okay, this is crazy. This is a lot for my body. And I'm almost 30. So it's also like, I'm not a kid anymore. I need more time. And
Yes.
I think those are the things that matter that they're not thinking about when it comes to women's football, because they still don't see us as professional. But I also think, so for your team, you have a woman coach, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
mean,
also, yeah, well, the woman, the head coach is a woman, but I'm sure
yeah.
there's men. Yeah.
We have a lot,
So,
but the head coach is woman.
yeah. And I think to have someone in a really big power spot on a club for women, that is a woman who can say, when you have the comfort, like, I don't care. I'm not shy. I will tell my coaches if I'm having bad period cramps. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If I am in pain, I will tell you, and I will tell you why,
Yeah.
because a period is biology. It's just normal, but
Yeah.
society makes it weird. But I think it also matters when we have more women on women's teams of staff, like a manager or a trainer, a coach or a director, where you can go to them and be comfortable to say, you understand, you are a woman. It's not an
Sure.
excuse. I'm not whining. I'm not weak. It's biology. We are more likely to get injured on our period. It is just science. We should
Oh,
be
sure.
able to tell our coaches and our clubs, hey, my body needs this right now if you want me to perform well on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's missing in women's sport is we are missing the biology that matters for us, that we're happy to use science, right? We have trackers, we have all these substances we take, these shakes and powders and pills and tape that we use. But when it comes to science for biology for women, it's like a whole mind crazy idea. It's like, oh, how can we talk about periods when we're talking about sports? It's like, because it matters. So I think you made a lot of good points when it comes to ACL. It's not just having a bad pitch, it comes down to biology too. And I think it's really nice to hear your club taking the steps to ask the important questions. I mean, my club, we ask questions as well, like how tired are you? Are you stressed? Are you depressed? So we've taken those steps too, but asking about our periods, that's the difference. We have all males, all men coaches. So of course no one's going to think to ask that questions, and that's where it matters to have more women representing women. And so I think that's also a big factor too.
Yeah. I had one more thought right now, since you said like you would tell your coach no matter what. I feel like, especially with the professionalism and the players who get younger and younger right now, we need that confidence. And we're going back to self-esteem and confidence, because we have like young players in our team right now where I don't know if they can tell if they are in a bad mood, or if it's just like a hard day where you have to push a little through,
Yeah,
It's
maturity as
like,
well.
it's a really thin line between know yourself, your body, and go to your coach and say with confidence, hey, it's really today like not a good day to perform 100% in 1-versus-1 situations on the pitch.
Yep.
I need a little more rest. And with that also comes trust for the to the coach, of course. Like if a player pushes through, and then I don't know, especially young players with that jealousy in the locker room, everybody says like, yeah, I'm a little sore, but it's fine, I will train. And in the end, it was actually pretty bad, and they getting injured, or like they pushing through, but it's not ideal for their bodies. So I feel like with self-confidence and like with this safe environment also in the locker room, not just with the coach, but also women, one-to-one, we should all take care of our bodies and like our health as well. Because I feel like, especially in professionalism and like athlete sport, like professional sport, we do like sport 100% every day, so it's actually unhealthy. So we need to make sure that with 40, with 50, we're still able to walk and not
Yeah.
have crunches or something.
Yeah.
So I'm 26 and sometimes I feel my lower back as well. So
Oh my
I
gosh,
need to
yes.
make sure that, yeah, especially when you change pitches. So I just make sure that your health is high priority and that you can share that without any risk or any being scared to not play then, because I had situations as a young player where I was scary and I actually didn't play because I said I am out of training today or I
Yep, me
can't.
too. Yeah.
So since a lot of players have that evidence or that experience of untrusty situations with coaches or clubs, I feel like it comes a little bit and we transport that knowledge a little bit also. This is how it is to
Mm-hmm.
younger players, and we definitely should stop there and say, hey, listen to your body first, no matter what, that's the most important thing. And of course, you want to play, but listen to your body and then you can play.
Yeah, genau. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, question number 4. This is mehr so for Deutschland. This is more for Germany. But you mentioned in your responses, Germany really missed an opportunity to invest in women's football like other countries. So, wie so ein deutsche Damen. Also für mich, ich bin in Deutschland nur für nicht eben 2 Jahren jetzt, so nicht so lang. Ich bin lernen, wie alles ist da, aber
Yeah.
ganz ehrlich, du bitte weißt besser. So for you as a German woman and a football player for your whole life, what did you see growing up and now as an experienced professional player? How do you see Germany miss these opportunities? And do you think, you know, in comparison to other countries, how did Germany miss them?
I feel like I answered that question a little bit already in my first response or second response with that missing of responsibility. I feel like a lot of clubs are always saying we have no money for the women's team, we need money for from the association, or we when the money gets more watching time or like Zuschauer,
Oh
so
yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
more audience,
Mm-hmm.
then we could invest more on, or then they could play more often on that pitch and everything. So they playing back and forth this ball of responsibility, and I feel like we show how attractive can football be. But I feel like with all that, these are tiny steps right now because now we have more watch time, like the zone board or the woman first league games.
Mm-hmm.
So you can watch on the zone like all the games, but now the criticism is on the angles, on the on the frames, and on the referees, actually on the decisions, because now you can see how bad the referees or the pitch is. So
Yep.
everybody is complaining about the conditions, which are not good. So I feel like they're always like coming up, something's up, and I feel like I said, we have no standards. There's no rule that first and second league clubs need to have a grass field. You could have like a turf in the second league. So, or like, they're like, I feel like that's one rule I just heard. And then I feel like with audience rankings or stadium rules, they're like, there's no like list of things that should be counted for first and second league, and also for the contracts for players first and second league. And I feel like with that, taking actually it has to be DFB association, since they have the rights for first and second league. My wish would be that that goes also to the DSL, which managing the first men's league and the second league,
Mm-hmm.
since they're doing a really good job. And yeah, I feel like with generaling that and setting standards, the clubs have to react and develop quicker, faster, and some of them want to, but some of them can't. Like you said, with COVID and everything, some clubs are afraid that they can't catch up anymore. But I mean, with professionalism comes these steps, and I feel like we have to make like courage steps forward. And other countries like England, for example, or
Oh
Spain,
yeah.
did that. and they're doing so great. And also with that now, especially in England, I feel like it comes such more competitive games in the first league. Here in Germany, you have Bayern Munich, you have Wolfsburg, Frankfurt, Hoffenheim. You have like 4 really good clubs, which are playing always like on the top, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have other like a midfield, and then like the lower teams in second league. It's actually surprising this year that it's so close to each other,
Yeah.
but normally there's also such a crazy range of quality to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like just with investing money from the clubs and also the association, if everybody is doing their part, then the fairness, the quality in first and second league would getting up, but also the audience number, because if you see a good game, then you want to watch it. Doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's man or woman football. Yeah.
They did a survey after the World Cup, and all
Yeah.
of the England fans said that they
Hmm.
were actually angry because they realized how hard it was to find the women's games after the World Cup. They watched it, they said, "Wait, our women's team is really good. This was really fun. We loved it." And so they wanted to watch more, but they couldn't
Yeah.
find them because they don't show the games on TV. And that was when
Yeah.
people started to realize, oh, this is why we don't watch women's football. Not because we don't want
Yeah.
to. We can't. There is no way to watch
You don't
women's
see it.
football.
Yeah.
You don't see it. And here in Germany, I think what's so crazy to me is even our game on Sunday, we played against Hamburg,
Hmm.
and Hamburg just won out of, they promoted from Regionalliga to second Bundesliga, and they're first of the table right now. And
We
we'll
play
get
against them
into,
too.
yeah, and we'll get into, why that's obviously successful.
Yeah.
But my teammate, she couldn't play on the weekend, and I texted her after the game and I said, "Hey, what did you think?" And she said, "Oh, I didn't watch it." And I said, "Oh, you didn't have time?" She said, "No, I couldn't watch it. They didn't live stream it." And I'm like,
Yeah.
a second league game with the
Yeah.
first place team playing against a team who's like, we're fighting to stay with between like sixth, seventh, eighth. Like, we're in the middle trying to move towards the top. That's a
Yeah.
big game. For us, that was a
Yeah.
really big 3 points we lost. But if we would have won, those 3 points would have been really big for us. And to beat the
Yeah.
top place team is a big deal. And you don't
It
have that
is.
game live streamed. And that was when I was so confused, because I'm thinking, you wonder why you can't get money for women's games. It's not because people don't want to watch. They literally can't. And this is Bundesliga. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's Eins or Zwei. It's Bundesliga. And that's, for me as an American, like I said in Berlin, wenn ich höre Bundesliga, ist egal, Bundesliga eins, Bundesliga zwei. When I hear Bundesliga, I think top football in the world, because
Yeah.
everyone knows Bundesliga, even people in America who don't like soccer or football. They know what
Yeah.
Bundesliga is. And when you,
Yeah.
you come here and you play in it, and then you find out that in Bundesliga 2, they don't even have the games being live streamed, it just blows your mind,
Yeah.
because it makes you wonder, like, what is real? Is Bundesliga
Yeah.
professional or not? And it makes me kind of sad, because as a foreigner, leaving America, leaving my family, wanting to play professionally overseas, especially in Europe, and getting to Germany, playing Regionalliga, moving up to Bundesliga 2, and now I'm like, okay, cool, I made it, but what is
You
the
made it.
best? Like,
But nobody can see it. Yeah.
nobody
Oh
can
my
see
gosh.
it.
Yeah.
So as a German person, like, growing up, did you, obviously, you went outside of Germany as well to play. You played outside. You played in America, and then you played in Ireland as well.
Glasgow.
Glasgow, yeah.
Scotland.
So
Yeah.
in Scotland. So you played outside Germany. So as, a European one, but a German woman, to go from playing in Bundesliga 1 and then stepping out and playing in other countries, how does it make you feel to know that, like, you could easily just be at home in your own country playing top level, but you also know that you won't get the treatment you deserve for professionalism? And so leaving your
Yeah.
home, it's kind of like, I mean, it's nice to travel. I know you
Yeah.
you get that too. It's
Yeah.
nice to see other places, but when your home is an option and it's top level, and then you have to realize it's not the most professional option, like how frustrating is that?
Yeah. I feel like since I grew up with that mindset and that I don't know it differently. And I feel like with especially you talking about Bundesliga, you have really high expectations, or like everybody has high expectations on Bundesliga. And with me, I feel like I already knew that even second Bundesliga. First, I would make a difference maybe also from first Liga to second, since I
Hmm.
knew first became with the whole like development a little bit more attractive and more supportive from everything, like association and clubs, and because the rich clubs are playing in first league and second league
Yep.
is a little different. So I feel like my expectations were like a little. I knew how it worked, or like that the standards are not there where I would wish they would be,
Hmm.
and also sports in generally I feel like of course football is German's sport number one,
Yeah.
and I would correct men football is sport number one. I
Yes.
feel like women's soccer is coming there, but it's so slow and it's not there where men Bundesliga is. So I feel
No.
like, and it's also about the sport and the results. I feel like I grew up with who is the first one, who is competitive, who will win the championship. I always have these questions, or when reporter are showing the highlights of a game, it's all about the result and the toughness about the game. And to me, especially going to the US and to Scotland, I saw sport in a different way in terms of an event and in terms of society coming together and celebrating a sport.
Hmm.
And I feel
Yeah.
like that's something I wish Germany would adapt at one point too, seeing it not as much as it's pretty German, I feel like. Seeing the result, who getting first, who's the
Yeah.
winner, who's the loser, and we will support the winner, or the winner will get something and the loser will have empty hands in the end.
Yep.
So I feel like with especially the US, so my college time was awesome, and to see how much people come together and celebrating just the sport. It doesn't matter if man, woman, I don't know, football, baseball, everybody would
Hmm.
just show up and have a good time. And I feel like that whole atmosphere was something I admire so much in different cultures, that I just grew up with the German mindset of Bundesliga is of course high level, but it's just different. I feel like it's just maybe also like from that mindset, just the highest league is worth to watch. I don't know
Yeah. Yeah.
when I see it that way. Um, so yeah, German can learn a lot of yeah. I feel like German can learn a lot of from England or from the US and also from Scotland about the excitement behind the game.
Hmm. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
enjoying being
and
able.
we have we have really good matches here too.
Yeah.
First Liga, Zweite League, also Regionalliga. So I
Yes.
feel
Premier
like the
League is
football
also
is
good.
especially with the good quality of football, we would have the potential to show it. But I feel like maybe the mindset is nobody would watch it, which
Hmm.
I hear often. But there are numbers and research already that it's not the case. So yeah,
Yep. Just waiting in time.
waiting. I mean, I can see it coming. We have especially now in third league, we have in end of April a league game against Hertha BSC. So they're like two
Yeah.
big clubs,
They
Union
just
Berlin and
joined
Hertha
Regional
BSC.
Liga, right? Hertha just joined. The women's team just joined Regional Liga, right?
They got bought by another club. So
Oh,
Hertha
okay.
BSC is a man club and Hertha 03 is
Hmm.
another smaller club in Berlin, and they bought or re zusammenschlossen.
Yeah, they came
they
together. Yeah.
they got together and they So they bought this women team from the Regionalliga, so they're just in the Regionalliga as well right now.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But we will have that game in our men's stadium, Alte Försterei in Berlin. And we try to get like a record with 22,000 or people and live stream
What's the date of
and
that
everything.
game? What's the date?
It's the 28th of April.
Okay.
Sunday.
I need to remember I have an off weekend in April, and if my weekend is free, I will be there.
I will get you a ticket for sure.
Oh my God.
Because I feel like it will be sold out. I hope so. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, Berlin is definitely also one of those cities that loves to support. Like Berlin is just one of those, it's a unique city. I love Berlin. I think Berlin is special because it's all about everyone doing what makes themselves happy and supporting the people around you. It's a real community city. I think that's why it's so different in Germany. That's why I think a lot of Germans say like Berlin is nicht Deutschland, because it's a different mindset there. Because I mean, I'm in Bavaria, which is very different than Saarbrücken, which is very different than Berlin. And Bavaria is sehr Deutsch, very German. And it's very much like there's an order to things. If you're not first, you're last. Like it's very German, like you said. So it's just interesting to see the environment around Regionalliga in Berlin compared to Bundesliga 2 in Bavaria, you know? And it's like if Bundesliga 2 in this area had the same energy that Berlin gives to all its teams in Regionalliga, women's football just in Bundesliga 2 would go up so fast in one season. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Speaking about your awesome club and also amazing clubs like Hamburger, HSV. So the importance and the impact of investing in women's football. So your club, HSV, Hertha, these clubs are seeing really, really fast, even Victoria Berlin, like what it means to invest in women's football and just how quickly you can see the results of it. So you personally are experiencing that. So speak about your experience at Union and why you feel it's so special and different than other countries and teams that you've played on in Germany or in Scotland. Like, what is it about, you know, these clubs that are putting in the money for women? As a player, how do you feel it's made a huge difference?
I feel like these clubs have figured out that success or like coming to the first league needs a stable foundation, and they figured out they need to invest first to get to the success to get to the first league. And that first league also still means investing and developing, and there will be no point where they can say we are in the first league now and now we leave it here and will be fine. So I feel like some clubs, like I said, missed the point and keep going, growing, and investing in the women's team as well, especially with different schedules, different game, different bodies. So I really think we need to pay more attention on women football, and I don't like to say men and women football are so different because the rules, the play is the same, but our bodies and our hormones and our systems are really different. So in terms of that and training and our day-to-day life, we really need to make sure that we are comfortable and having a foundation where we can work on, so we don't have to do a second job. We are financial safe and feel like capable of training twice a day if necessary. So with that, my club really did a huge investment in setting that foundation, in giving us a really nice pitch, a great trainer who has the highest license from training, so she really know how to coach. She also had like a coaching team, so like I said, I don't have just one coach, we have like 4 or 5. I recently saw a picture of our staff team, and I feel like it's 15 people or something. So I feel like that's something you would see in a professional team. men team.
Easily.
And I feel like with that foundation they set in Berlin right now, they bring us in a position to say, okay, now from that point we can build success on. And as for us players, of course, it's a little pressure because we got a lot advanced. So a lot of trust, a lot of facility, equipment, payments. So we are professional now, so we don't have to work anymore next to the pitch and really can focus on it. But with that, of course, it comes down to working on your health, on your recovery, on your soccer skills, technique every day. And yeah, I feel like my club and also HSV did a really good job in doing that first step, or that step first, and then now expecting the results in form of success. And I feel like it pays off. You can see it. And these two, like my club and HSV, are like just two examples, but I feel like over the next 2-3 years, you will definitely see that clubs with strong men teams who invest in their women's will be in the first league. I feel like BVB, they started in the 6th league or something. They're coming up right now pretty fast. I feel like they're playing Regionalliga next league. I'm not sure right now, but
so.
they will be in the Bundesliga over the next 2-3 years, I guess, as well. Then Stuttgart, I feel like, will do a lot for their women's team. Even Greuther Fürth has a really good girls and women academy. So they're trying to really give the girls what they need to develop their skills in the best possible way. And I feel like this different mindset with young trainers, with young managers, is helping a lot and pays off and shows which club is meaning it. Because, like I said, I played already first league, or like in international clubs, but sometimes it's just these details which shows you or give you that feeling of, okay, I can really focus or trust here this process of being successful and becoming a better player.
I think that's something, especially as a foreigner, I've had to really think about. If I want to stay in Germany, I have to remember that the level is not always what makes the football the best. And if I'm going to stay here, I have to not think so much about first league, second league, Regionalliga, Landesliga. I need to think about the clubs that I want to play for. I need to think about the environment that I'm going to be in, because I mean, even Zollbrücken, I didn't work last year. I played in Regionalliga, and you know, that club has a very strong men's team, a massive support system. I mean, Zollbrücken, the amount of people I've seen with tattoos of the Verein on their leg, their whole back. I've seen the ganz Rücken, a tattoo of Zollbrücken. And these people, like, they bleed blau and schwarz. Like, they are literally diehard fans. And I think they're this close to getting it, because I think if they invested in the women's team just a little bit more, if they made the fans of the men's team care about the women's team just this much more, they would easily have the money to be able to pay the women more. And they have the money, but it's the same excuse of like, well, we have it, but why would we give it to the women? No one wants to go. But then you look at Mainz and Fünf. So Mainz and Fünf is doing really well right now in the Regionalliga. They are dominating their league, and they're looking to move up to second league too, because within one season, they invested in their women's team. They became more professional, and now they are taking over the Regionalliga, the third place last year, first place this year. And if they keep going strong, they'll go to the relegation and hopefully move up. And that's all it takes, is one season of investing in your women's team. And that's something that's also, when you do move up, staying is really hard. And so that's something that you also have to remember, is that the club has to keep believing in the women, even if it doesn't work out perfectly right away. And that's, I think, what really matters too, is yes, the money helps, obviously, but you also need to have coaches and trainers that believe in the women's team to say, okay, if it doesn't go perfect in the first year, we'll go again next year and we'll go again next
Yeah.
year. And that's what really matters. And I think the clubs that you see changing so fast in 1 or 2 seasons, that's the difference, is that these clubs are looking at their women's team saying, these women are really good and all they need is support. And
Yeah.
they're still human beings, they're still people. Injuries happen, sickness happens, whatever. So the season may not go as you plan, but it doesn't mean you give up. And I think that's what's really going to make a difference in
True.
women's football in Germany, is when all these clubs really believe in it and they stick to it. And yeah, I'm just really excited that you get to be a part of something like this. And we're seeing it so often. And, I have 4 friends on Mainz and Fünf. I still have my friends from Saarbrücken. I know you at Union Berlin. I know a couple girls at Türkis and Poor. Like all these clubs that are really investing in women's football. It's just really, really nice to see. And yeah, it definitely opens my eyes a little bit for my future here in Germany of what matters the most to me. Is it having that level next to my name on Instagram, or is it about finding a club that's going to take care of me? Because if I'm not taken care of, I'm not going to be able to play at all. So I think that's, what
Yeah.
women really need to think about when they want to play professionally, is you need to look at where you're going first and not what level, because sometimes the level doesn't really matter, to be honest.
It's a good point, yeah. Especially to me, like that was also my biggest fear, from first league to international playing Champions League to then going to Regionalliga. I mean, from the outside, it seems very like a step back, or like a not very understandable decision. But to me, I just have that bigger reason to develop here in my childhood city, Berlin, such a great club, and especially with the values of the club, and also the club saying no matter how the men's do, because our men's not doing really well right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure they will stay in the first league, but some clubs, that's also a problem, say when our men's will not perform well, we have not the money to invest it in the women game. And my club has really separated that from each other. So the women's are very independent right now, and we have that goal for our women team. And with that, I feel much more directed and much more invested in that club, in that philosophy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Philosophy. Sorry, that
Same
was a
word,
very
said it
English
different.
German mix. Wow. Sometimes it's close, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
understand.
just I have a bigger yeah. I just have a bigger meaning and feeling to that club right now. So like you said, sometimes it's more a question where you want to go, and not if it's first league, second league, or even third league. I mean, it will be hopefully just a few more months third league. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, thank you
Yes.
so much for your time, and thank you for having this awesome discussion. I think after meeting you in Berlin, I knew I was like, oh, I have to stay friends with her. I need to speak with her more about women's football, because we both had, the experience of what it's like to want to play top level, but the struggle that it takes to get there and the sacrifices we've had to make to be where we want to be. And I think, also with your book, because yes, guys, Dina has written a book. So everyone needs to read that. Oh, we got the connection issue. Are we back? Do I have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a quick pause.
Yeah. So yes, Dina has also written a book. So everybody go buy it and read it. You have spoken about, so many important things and inspiring young women and just telling the truth. And I think women like you, players like you, are so important for the change that we're trying to make in women's football right now. And I have a lot of respect for you. I'm really glad we were able to meet. I feel like we could have talked the whole night about women's football and what it's like to travel and things like that. So yeah, I just really appreciate your time to join me today and talk about, what's really going on here in women's football, trying to reach the top.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed our time as well, and let me know when you play against Potsdam, because it's so close. I will come by if I not have a game by my own. But yeah, let's make it happen. And even if you want to come to Berlin, I will be happy to see you soon,
Yes.
sooner or later.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to it. So thank you again, and we'll be in touch, and have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, I'll stop recording.
Okay, I shouldn't